Hello, everyone. This is Melissa Brown here. Happy Monday to you. It is so good to be live with you. Today's topic that I want to share with you is the fact that, January, we have been talking about your being. We kind of took the focus off of what am I going to do? What's going to be my New Year's resolution? What's going to be the activities of the month? And I wanted to put your focus on something more meanings, something with a little more depth. And I really wanted you to focus on who you are, who you're being called to be in this new season, in this year of 2022. Who are you? And here we are. This is the 24th day of the first month of 2022. And one of the things that has been really just clear to me is most of us, we have no idea who we really are. We identify ourselves by what we do. And even though if you've done some of the life work that I've recommended, if you are part of my sisterhood, then you've been kind of working on this. And so you might even have a little bit more of an inkling of who you're called to be in the earth at this time and in this season. But I want to take it even further than that, because even whatever it is that God is putting on your heart, most of us, we only know just a fraction. We embrace what God is saying to us about us on a small level. And so today I want to share just a few gems with you around why is it that you really don't see yourself? And when you don't see yourself, it makes it really difficult for you to know yourself. And if you don't really know yourself, then you have no idea what your potential is. And can I just tell you that your potential is unlimited? It is unlimited. This is the year of the double. The 2022, you get it double. But you can only step into the double when you understand the power that is within you, the greatness, the brilliance, the majesty that God has put all over you. And so, why is it so hard for us to see that? A lot of times other people will see it, other people will tell us things about us. And if you haven't done your soul work, a lot of times it will go in one ear and out the other because we can't fully take it in. And so, as I was thinking about sharing with you guys as you start off this last week of January, it's so important that you get this. It's critical to your being for you to get it. You don't have until the summertime for the light to turn on. You need to get it now because there are things that God has for you in all 12 months of this year. And so you don't have time to waste. So are you ready? Put in the chat if you are ready. I know some of y'all, this is your lunch hour. I know West Coast, this might be, if you're watching live anyway, this is probably more of coffee breakfast time. But I wanted to let me share with you again my three major reasons why it's so hard for you to see yourself and know who you really are. Number one, you don't see yourself because you don't actually take the time to look up. Most of us are on our grind. We are totally focused with let's keep it moving. Let's keep it going. Let me just put my head down and let me just move. And we never really take the time to open up our eyes, to lift up your head and see what you just came through. Some of you are like, I know for me, I learned this year that yes, I'm Zen. I love to just sit back and be quiet. Y'all see my books. I'm good with a good book. Turn the fireplace on, just to sit and just relax. I'm a soul love coach. But what I found out about myself really from 2020 to 2021 is Melissa is a warrior. Yeah, I can keep it quiet, I can keep it zen, but if it's time to go to war, Melissa does know how to fight. And part of how you begin to know who you are is you look up and you look at what you have been through. And this January, it's time for you to see yourself. It's time for you to see what God just walked you through. It's time for you to see that you're stronger than you think, that you got more energy, you got more wisdom than you even realize. Again, it's time to shift from this space of let me just keep it moving. And you never really take note on who you've become in your process. Because that's really the joy of the journey. It's not getting from point A to point B, but it's who you become in the process. So I want to ask you as we start this Monday, who have you become? Who have you discovered? What is the woman? Who is the woman you have discovered living on the inside of you since 2020? In the last year, in the last 5 years, I don't know what you've had to walk through. For some of us, you may feel like you had to walk up the rough side of the mountain. For others, you may feel like you had to walk across burning coals. Whatever it is, some of us had to walk through the deepest and darkest of valleys. What have you learned about you? Who do you see yourself to be? And I guarantee you, if you look up and just glance at yourself in the mirror, you might see a different woman than the woman you've been telling yourself you are. So some of us, you need to not just keep it moving, but you need to take notes. You need to take notes on you. You need to study you. You need to look up and see, I did that. God brought me through that. And I'm a different woman now. So that's your number one. Part of why it's hard for you to see your greatness, your brilliance, is you ain't even looking up. You don't even see you. Number two, this is a big one. I know in our community, and you let me know if it's hitting you. You let me know what others have said, that you have given more power to what other people have said about you than what God says about you. And in this season, it's time for you to take the labels off. I know you've been wearing that label that you're this, girl, you know you that. People know you from your past. But God always refers to you based off of your future. God is referring to you based off of who he knows you're going to turn out to be. But if you adopt what other people say, you're going to stay where you are. You're going to keep on calling yourself whatever you've been calling yourself because that's what your mama called you. That's what your daddy said. That's what your sisters or some relatives said about you. Or that's what they said about you in high school. Girl, how long has it been since you've been in high school? And we still wearing that label? It's time for you to take it off. It's time for you to take off the circumstances because some of us have been in circumstances for so long that other people have forgotten your name. They refer to you by your condition. They refer to you by what you have been through. And you have adopted it as your identity. So when God is calling you to higher, when God is calling you to greater, you don't think you can get there because you've been listening to other people who said you'd never get there. And in this season, you're going to have to decide whose voice are you going to heed? Whose word are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to the peanut gallery who don't have all the information? Or are you going to listen to your heavenly Father, the King of Kings, the one who made you, the one who is the author and the finisher of your faith, the one who knows the end before the beginning? You get to decide who you're going to listen to about you. And you need to stop allowing people to sow those negative seeds in your spirit. Because in times of faith, in times where you need to be active, activated. Only thing that's coming up is what you planted. And you got to decide right now what you're going to plant in your heart. What are you going to plant in your spirit? You got to go back to what God said about you. And God says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are his works. God says that you are the head and not the tail. God says that he's working all things together for your good. God says that you are highly favored, that you will be blessed in the field, that you'll be blessed in the city. So you got to stop listening to the negative, the naysayers who are speaking something different about you, because it's causing you to doubt yourself. It's causing you, when it's time for you to take the step of faith, to believe that you can't do it and you haven't even put your shoes on yet. You got to check out, who am I listening to? Who am I listening to, and whose word am I going to let reside in my heart? Here's your third one. You have settled on just being good. And if you're just joining, we're talking about why you really don't even know who you are. You really don't even understand the greatness. And these are just a few of the reasons why you have watered yourself down. You have decided that you're just going to play small. And this reason right here is a big one, plays a big part in it, because we've just decided, some of us have just decided, I just want to be good. Anybody else grow up in a family where the whole goal was, I just want to be good? I don't want to be a problem. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to get in trouble, but I also don't want to do too much. Why? Whenever you don't want to be the rebel and you don't want to be the star, it's really because I want to be invisible. I don't want to be seen. I want to just be able to do me. And some of us are carrying that at 40 and 50 and 60 years old, that you just want to do me. And just like I said in number 2, that ain't even your thought. Can I invite you to go back? Can I invite you to go back when you were, before you were even 10 years old? Children are so amazing because their minds are so untainted. Their imaginations are so free. And they got all kinds of dreams and aspirations before somebody says, you ain't gonna be that. Before somebody says, who do you think you are to do that? Before somebody else says, girl, you're not smart enough to do that. But nobody says that to a 5-year-old, to a 6-year-old, when she says, I want to be on TV. When she says, I want to be a writer. When she says, I want to be an astronaut. And somebody else says, I want to be the president. We let them babies dream. And this morning, as we're, coming off of just a couple of weeks ago, we were celebrating Dr. King. What's your dream? We're getting ready to go into February, Black History Month. What's your dream? Have you settled on being good because you don't want to take the risk of being great? Because being great will bring too much attention. Being great means I might have to get criticized. People might not like me. People might judge me. People might, hate on me. And I just want to be in the middle. And God is saying in this season, you are either going to be hot or you're going to be cold. But you can't be lukewarm. You can't be in the middle anymore. This is not the season for you to be in the middle. Either you're going to be great or you're not. And some of us, we can feel the churning on the inside. We can feel greatness wanting to come up. And every time it comes up, you've become accustomed to just pushing it down. pushing it down because that's not what we do in my family. Pushing it down because I don't see nobody else who looks like me doing it. Let me push it down. Have you been pushing it down? Have you been saying, you know what? I'm good. I got a good job. I just got a promotion. I'm doing okay financially. And have you told yourself that's good enough? When the reality is, you and I both know that, girl, you ain't even playing at your full out. Girl, that what other people see is 50%. That ain't even you doing 100% of the game. That's you playing at 50%. Imagine what you could be if you were to give it all you got. Imagine what you would feel if you were to show up in the fullness of who God made you to be. What would you do if you weren't afraid of what they would say? And who are the they anyway? You are at a fork in the road in your life, and it is time for you to live with no regret. Some of us are stuck 10 years ago, full of regret about time wasted, relationships that we knew weren't going anywhere, but we stayed in it anyway. Money that we could have invested, but we spent or gave away to other people who still in the same situation. Regret. 2022 is when God pays you back. 2022 is where you get your opportunity to get it back, to have restoration on a full level, that it will seem like all the years that you wasted, when God redeems the time, it will be like you lost no time. But you're going to have to be willing to be that woman, to be that man, for all the brothers that might watch, to be who you really are, to look up and see what you already have come through, to let go of what other people have said about you, and to not settle for just being good enough. When like you know your name, that you were called to be great. Great. And can I say this? You have a moral obligation to be great, to be everything that you were called to be, especially if you call yourself a child of God, if you say you are a follower of Christ, and God desires for us to be fruitful and multiply and give him glory. What is the glory? The glory is your life. The glory is people looking at you in awe. The glory is you being seen, and people won't even really see you. They will look in amazement and say, God, oh my God, if God could do that for her, for him, then what could God do for me? People are still waiting on you. God is still waiting on you to be a demonstration of his glory in the earth. In the earth. You are the temple. You keep thinking that the glory is reserved for church. Well, half the churches are still closed. And I know that's for a reason. Church is closed because it's time for God's people to be the church. Are you open? Are you open for that? For that kind of glory? To let yourself be seen? The scriptures say, no man lights a candle and sticks it under a bushel, stick it under a table. No, the light has to be put on a hill so all can see. It's time for you to get lit. People got to see you. But first, you got to understand who you really are. So I invite you get your journal, get you some warm tea, coffee, whatever your flavor is. Crack your journal open and do some inventory on where you've been just in this last year. The battles you have won, the roads that you had to cross, the things that you thought were going to kill you, that you were literally on the ground in the fetal position, but look at you, you sitting up right here in 2020 on a YouTube live. You still here. Hey, come on, Miss Seeley. I'm still here. It didn't take me out. You need to take inventory. You need to see yourself as you are, not as who you were. You need to stop letting other people put their mouth on you and label you when God has already told you who you are. What I have gone through is of no consequence to what God said. God called me. God named me. And he knows me. And it's time for you to know you. And when you know yourself, understand that you have an obligation to go show his glory. So I hope you all will do that. I want you to like this video. Most of the time I'm on Facebook, but I'm doing something different in this season, 2022, where my word is impact. So that means I have to be a demonstration of my message. So I'm going to ask you to like this. I'm going to ask you to subscribe. I'm going to ask you to share it with somebody that you know is living on the minimal when there is greatness that God wants to display through them. So enjoy your Monday, enjoy your week, and go be great. Love y'all. Bye-bye.